Okay, so in this lesson, I want to talk about something that exists inside of Adobe Premiere and exists inside of Adobe After Effects and also kind of exists in Avid Media Composer. And that is to say that this thing doesn't actually exist in any of these programs. What I'm talking about specifically is a third-party plugin, which means you have to get it and install it into each of these software. But I don't really like talking about third-party plugins. I'm really excited when I watch a tutorial to learn about things that the software itself can do. And when I'm working, I kind of have this purist mentality of working inside the software and seeing what I can do with just the software alone without having to go to some outside resource. But I thought it might be fun to talk about third-party plugins, and specifically, I really like this plugin called Red Giant Universe. Now, Red Giant, if you know, is a company that is owned by Maxon. Maxon makes Cinema 4D, but they also recently purchased Red Giant. And Red Giant owns things like the Trapcode suite, which includes Trapcode Particular and Trapcode Shine, which I really, really love, as well as the Magic Bullet suite, which includes stuff like some color correction tools and some color effects like Magic Bullet Looks and Colorista. But they also own this collection called Red Giant Universe. And that's what I really want to talk about in this lesson. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of telling you to go buy something. I don't want you to go purchase Red Giant Universe today. I'm not trying to sell you on it, but I really think it's a cool plugin and it can do a lot of cool things and make your workflow a lot easier. So for my money, honestly, if you work for a big company or a school system, heck, get them to pay for it. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so I want to look at the Red Giant suite here. So we're inside Adobe Premiere. I have this sequence that has this shot of me looking around a corner here in this kind of mystery thriller here. There's an opening shot of this New York City here. It looks kind of cool. And if you go down here to the Red Giant suite, you'll see this Red Giant Universe collection. This is RG Universe Blur and RG Universe Distort and RG Universe Generators and Glow and Motion Graphics, etc. And these are the whole RG suite. And inside of each of these, Red Giant Universe Distort, for example, you'll see things like Unichromatic Aberration. And this would add chromatic aberration to a shot. Now, what's chromatic aberration? It's that kind of distortion, kind of a blur distortion that happens at the edge of a lens when you have a really wide angle or fisheye lens that causes this kind of color separation that exists there. So now you can see this kind of weird color separation in the red, green, and blue. And if you go into the effects controls, you can see here that we have kind of this unichromatic aberration. There's a whole bunch of controls here. The uniform scale, the scale amount, we could increase the scale of this. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of, maybe like 110, maybe is good. Add some rotation there to it, maybe just a little bit of rotation, like a 2-degree rotation. Have some kind of increase the radial blur amount, have it more blurry, and you could adjust all these settings and make whatever kind of chromatic aberration you want. And that's kind of cool. The thing about the Red Giant suite is this is a lot of things, or the Universe suite specifically, is that there's a lot of times that I'm doing work and I'm making something. And a lot of times I could make it myself. I could watch a tutorial and learn how to do it. This chromatic aberration, probably some kind of channels effect with some kind of a radial blur, with some kind of a other blur, and you put 6 or 7 effects together inside of Premiere or inside of Adobe After Effects, and eventually you have something similar. Well, what Red Giant has done for us, really sweetly, but you know, you got to pay for it, is they've made it so that you don't have to do all this work. They've just made it so, yeah, you could probably figure out how to do it, but you know what? Somebody else figured out how to do it. Somebody at Maxon or somebody at Red Giant or Stu Mashwitz or somebody else figured out how to do all these things. And they said, hey, you want this? Here. We're just going to give it to you. We're just going to give it to you and make it easy. And so a lot of times you're like, man, somebody wants to do something really crazy or weird, and I don't know how to do it. Let's just make it easy for you. So let's take a look at what these Red Giant effects have and what they can do and all the kind of different values of them. Now, what I really like about this is we're going to go reset this. Inside of here, it says open the dashboard. And the dashboard is a really great tool. So if we go here to Premiere Pro and you go to the Windows menu, you can go to Windows Extensions, Red Giant Universe Dashboard. Or you can just click here and open it from here if you added the effect already. But I normally don't even add the effect by dragging it over. I normally just open up the dashboard. So let's go here. Let's delete this effect and let's start over here. Let's go to Window, Extensions, Red Giant Universe Dashboard. And that opens up a new window. Red Giant has made their own window. Now we're going to take this window, we'll drag it somewhere closer here. Maybe we'll take this, we'll move this over like this, a little bit shorter, and we'll go here and drag this just kind of right here in between here. So we have the Universe Dashboard. We'll open this up here a little bit more. And now you see the Red Giant Universe Dashboard. So here's all your categories. The same categories are here. Blurs, distorts, generators, glow, motion graphics, stylized text, transition, utilities, all these different things. They all exist right here. But what's really nice about this is let's take a look at what we can do here. So we have some blurs, and in here, the blurs, you could add a simple blur, and you could click on this clip, and you could hit here, and you could click apply, and it would add a simple blur to this. Boom, it applies the blur, it applies the universe blur, and this clip will have some blur to it. Now, here, we added the blur and the blur didn't really do much. And that's not necessarily what we want to play with. If you click on this, you can go here and you can look at different presets. So adding the blur by itself didn't really do anything for us, didn't really help us at all because it didn't decide what kind of blur it's going to do or how it's going to decide to be a blur. We can go here and if you scroll back, we're clicking on blur. We're going here to the presets and you can say apply this horizontal blur. So let's delete this. Let's start over and let's apply this horizontal blur, which will add the horizontal blur, which is a simple horizontal blur. If you don't like that, you could switch this to a vertical blur. So you're clicking on this and choosing this, and now just switch to a vertical blur. Now that's nothing really special. Hey, I want to do a horizontal blur. Could I do that in Premiere? Yeah, I could probably take a Gaussian blur and turn off the horizontal to vertical. There's probably some effect that will do it. I'm sure there is there. That's really simple. So let's get rid of the universe blur because it's really kind of, basic, fundamental. Let's look at other things. Box bokeh. Bokeh is that idea that light kind of, when it separates, when it blurs out in the distance behind things. So let's take something like New York here, and we'll take New York, and we'll apply this box bokeh. But before I do this, I'm going to click here, go into these presets, and find a preset that I like. Big blurry boxes tilted. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Big blurry boxes, big boxes tilted, light leak burn. Let's see if we can find small blocks. I like small diamond blurry. Yeah, I'm gonna click small diamond blurry. So I'm gonna click on this clip here, apply small diamond blurry, and now we get this kind of weird blurry lights there. You could probably take this layer and put this layer on top of this. If we hold in the Alt key, the Option key, put it on top of here, and then have this without the blur on top, and then maybe go into, say, something like the opacity and do some kind of blending mode with, I don't know, try some blending mode here and get some kind of combination, maybe screen or lighten. And now you have this kind of weird blurriness shining through there. So now we can look at the color. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So now we have New York with New York shining through here, and you can go to this box blurry. And now you can further adjust this. You could do the blurriness amount, increase the gamma or decrease the gamma. Now you have this kind of happening through here. So I have this layer on top. This layer is the regular foreground layer. And then I have this with a blending mode like color dodge or soft light or something like that, or, try some blending mode so that I can see the layer behind. That's weird. Vivid light doesn't work for us. Overlay does that. And now I can see these two together with this kind of blur built into this there. Again, if this doesn't work, try some other blending mode, maybe linear burn or something. That doesn't work for me. Lighten does that. And we have this kind of mix of these two things here. So let's delete this for a second. We'll get rid of this box blur here. And now this is a box bokeh here. And there's different kinds of rain on the window. Oh, rain on the window. Can we click on this, apply this preset, rain on the window. Now we have this kind of rain on the window look, Anyway, it's a different type of thing. Could you do this yourself? Yes, probably. But guess what? Universe has just made it available for you, and they're doing it for you, and it's here, and you don't have to do anything, and it's really simple. Let's keep moving. Let's keep playing. So let's go back to effects. Let's see. Compound blur. Now, a compound effect usually involves another layer. So it usually involves bringing in another layer to have this in here. So in this case, what we might do is we might say, okay, let's apply the compound blur. And we're going to say use the lightness here of the other layer. So now we're going to say apply this effect, which is not going to do much for us. We're going to apply this effect here, and it probably won't do much. It'll blur this out a little bit. But right now, inside here, it says, what is it using for the blur layer? Well, it's not. It's using itself. It's using nothing for the blur layer. It wants some other layer, video 3, video 2, video 1, to be a blur layer. So let's try it this way. Let's take this, drag this up here, and let's bring in something else that might work. Let's see. Do we have, let's go here, and we're just going to go into my drive here. And in my drive, I'm going to grab in Adobe After Effects. We'll go to Workflow, and I'll grab in this AFC logo here. And this AFC logo here is this logo that looks like this. We're going to put this down here, and now I have the AFC logo underneath. So the AFC logo just looks like this. It says Artist for Change. Great. I'm going to use this layer as my blur layer. So I'm going to use video 1 as my blur layer. And now it should blur this way. So now it's blurring inside only where the AFC logo is. And it's blurring based on the lightness basically there. So you could blur based on the alpha if there was something with an alpha channel, but now it's blurring the lightness there. This is to make a blur that is based on the values of something else. So this is like what's called a compound blur basically in there. If I change to soften mask, see what it does differently. We're going to make it a soften mask on blur video one. So that's a little bit the same thing. So it's sort of there, but it's a little bit less prominent there. It's a little softer. We've changed a little bit of the blur amount there. Maybe make it 100 or something like there. And you'll see a little bit of blur there, but it's not really as noticeable. There's a point at which this blurs from. Anyway, that's the compound blur. So if you see compound effects are based on another layer that's being used. So you can have a compound distort, which would be distorting based on another layer. Again, I'm going to get rid of this AFC logo. We're bringing back nearest the aerial back down here, and we'll have this like there. Spot blur we can look at, but let's look on to the distorts. Let's go on. We're still playing here. We can play with the distorts and look at the distort effects, and now there's different distort effects that we have here. So we looked at chromatic aberration before, but let's see if we click on chromatic aberration. So I'm going to click on chromatic aberration, and I'm going to say, hey, let's look at different types of chromatic aberration. And here's the presets: chromatic swirl, chromatic tilt, chromatic zoom, dreamy, extreme dirt. Yeah, extreme dirt. Let's take some other video layer here and let's use extreme dirt, and then boom, we're gonna apply this here and apply this effect and see what it did. Extreme dirt didn't do much here. Man, might have added some dirt to the layer, but oh, because we're clicking the first layer. I was clicking the other layer. Oh yeah, okay, so it added a little bit of dirt there. Let's remove this effect. Sorry. There's my extreme dirt. Let's remove this here, and let's click on this layer. Got to make sure I'm clicked on the layer, and let's apply extreme dirt. Oh, okay, so so it added some dirt to there. So it adds some dirt, etc. We have a Gaussian blur that's on here that's not doing anything anymore. But here, is there a control for the dirt amount? I don't even know. Blur filter. There's different blur filters, different passes. Interesting. Distortion amount. Anyway, that is extreme dirt on the lens. So it's an effect we can do. Let's keep playing. Let's see what else we got in chromatic aberration. We can go here to heavy viewfinder. And that's okay. It's not bad. I'm going to undo that. I don't know, something else in here. Simple smudges, vertical focus. Different kind of blur, chromatic aberration there. Oh, that's intense. Usually takes a second or so for this thing to apply. It's got to do a little bit of rendering. Third-party plugins are sometimes like that. They take a little bit extra time to render and do that. So there's your chromatic aberration. There's a control here called heat wave. Heat wave is great for doing things that involve some kind of a heat distortion. You know, when there's heat on the hot pavement in the middle of the desert, you get that heat distortion. But you can do that with different layers. And one of the fun things is to do that with text. So we're just going to write down we'll do this in bold. It's really hot out. Cool. And we'll have that saying it's really hot out. We're going to go here. We're going to take this text and we're going to kind of mess with this text a little bit inside here. Maybe we'll go in here and choose a bigger font like Impact. Great. We'll change the size of this a little bit bigger so it's really, really hot out. We'll center this and we'll move this over here. It's really hot out. Now here, we're going to apply heat wave. And so we can do kind of a super hot. We'll do super hot on heat wave. And now we have this kind of distorted, weird looking, really wiggly heat wave coming out of there. If we don't like the heat wave, universe heat wave. And again, this is kind of one of those things that could you make this yourself? Let's see, Mirage, default, billowed. Let's see, what's the billowed? Billowed sounds fun. We can apply billowed here. And now you have this kind of blur, this weird blur in the bottom. Could you make this yourself with kind of a blur and some kind of a distortion, some kind of a wiggle distortion? Yeah, you probably could, but man, it's just here. It's just here. It's just convenient for you. You have it. You didn't have to do anything amazing. Something simple that you could do. They just gave it to you. They're just like, here it is. Here's the effect you're looking for. You went online, you looked up a couple of different tutorials on how to do this one effect. We just made it for you. We gave it to you. You have it now. Here, stop worrying about it. Work quicker. work smarter. There's RGB separation, which is kind of like a different kind of chromatic aberration. There's prism displacement. We can try it. We can look at prism displacement, see what we got here. Let's do prism displacement with something weird with text. We'll do draining. I don't know. We'll apply this to draining. What this is going to do? Let's see. Boom. Looks like it didn't do much. Let's see. Let's take a look. Draining. Applying. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. I didn't hit the apply right. That's weird. Looks like it did a kind of a thing there. Um, you could have a different source based on this, so it's clearly a compound effect. I don't know. There's some other kind of displacement you could get. If you did this on video, I wonder what happened if you did it in the video. If we did melted on the video. Not much. Let me see apply effect. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, weird. A little too much. A little too much. A little bizarre. It's like a weird surrealist film now. Strange. Anyway, these are different effects. I haven't used all of these. I promise you, I haven't used all of them. Let's look at something else like generators. Okay, generators. What can we do with generators? Simple stuff. Simple stuff like we need a background. We need a fractal background. Now, have you gone into After Effects and used, fractal effects to make a fractal background? I'm sure you have. Yeah, I'm sure you have played with it. Let's take a look at this inside of After Effects. So let's bring in some stuff inside of After Effects. We're gonna quit this out of here. We'll actually just, yeah, we'll save and we'll quit. And we're gonna open up After Effects here, and we'll bring open After Effects. Now, After Effects will take a second to open it relatively quickly. I have Avid Media Composer open up because I'm going to show Avid Media Composer a little bit after this, so don't worry about it. So let's take a look. Let's go here into Adobe After Effects. We'll bring some stuff in here. We're going to go here to Effects class, and we'll go here to L1 workflow. We'll bring in New York City aerial. We'll bring in this USA map. We'll bring in this TC street pole, and we'll bring in maybe the giraffe and maybe the AFC logo. We'll bring those things in here. Excellent. And while we're at it, we're going to bring in some stuff, just some video stuff. Maybe we'll bring in some stuff in the masks folder. We'll bring in some Joe Russo, and we'll bring in some Save On. And so we have these in here. So now we can look at them here. And now again, just going to make a new comp. Yeah, 15 seconds is fine. We'll make a new comp, and we'll just bring in New York City aerial in here. And we have this comp here. And again, if I go to After Effects Windows Extensions, I can bring up Windows Extensions, Red Giant Universe Dashboard. And here's the Red Giant Universe Dashboard. It's going to load up. And now I can look at all the stuff that's inside of After Effects and use this inside here. Inside of After Effects, I'm going to put it right here, make as much room as I can, and now you see all these presets. We'll try to stretch this out as much as we can. Make this a little bit smaller and give myself some room to play. This is getting a little weird in terms of screen, but we'll deal, and we'll work with it. So let's take a look. Under the generator, so I say I'm going to make a solid, Command Y. We'll make a solid that's comp size. Cool. And I'm just going to put a fractal background in here. Excellent. So this is going to apply a fractal background. But again, here's the different fractal backgrounds. If I click here, oh my God, here's different fractal backgrounds that you could do. So there's angled red beams. I can apply angled red beams. This is cool. Weird angled red beams that animate and play. Yeah, they do something. There's different blurred ridge and cellular and color rush cold and color rush hot. And this looks like fractal noise here. This looks like this is a different type of curtain. So there is a curtains that exists inside of Adobe After Effects, but maybe these curtains are better. I don't know. Oh, they look deeper. They look different. But if we look here in the effects controls, you can see that you have a lot more controls for the animation speed, for the rotations, for how it scrolls. Which way does it scroll? You can invert it. Have them be over white, how the blend mode is. So you could actually, if you wanted to, you could say, hey, instead of doing this on the white solid, you could go to the New York City aerial, and you could say, do something that has kind of an effect, a vignette green virus. This is with the fractal background. So we can put a vignette green virus, apply this onto here, and now New York has this kind of creepy green virus vignette on it. Is that something you could make yourself in After Effects? I'm sure you could, but again, we've made it for you, or Red Giant has made it for you, so you don't have to. I'm speaking in my Red Giant voice. Red Giant has made it for you. Anyway, so these are different effects that you have here that are available to you. Let's keep playing. There's soft gradient backgrounds and something called Spectralicious. You got appreciate something called spectralicious. Let me just go back to white solid here. We're going to white solid. We'll get rid of this fractal background, and we're just going to bring in candy floss. I don't know what candy floss is. Oh, weird, weird, bizarre, strange, bizarre, adorable. Man, um, it's interesting, and I can even see New York behind it, which is there. Oh, because there's opacity levels for each of these. So opacity 4 is only at 90%. But now you have all these different colors and oh man, look at that. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 color gradient. Eight color gradient. That's kind of fascinating. And you can do that. And so there's other presets again. Edge of night. Let's just apply edge of night in there. Boom. Man, look, you made a sky. Like you've just made a sky. Dusk sky. Apply that. Boom. And you can make this into a dusk sky. Bizarre. Let me get rid of that for a second. Good dusk sky here. There we go. There's a dusk sky. Flower. Apply that preset. Bizarre. Interesting. It's a better gradient. You know, it's a better gradient. But this is your fractal backgrounds, your spectralicious, your different gradients, your turbulent noises, etc. These are different effects that you can do. Let's keep going. Let's go forward. We're going to go through all these here. We're going to try and go through all these as many as we can. These different glows. So different glow things that we can make in here. So here's edge glows. Here's glimmers. Let's get rid of the white solid for just a second. We'll go back to the white solid here. Let's go back to something like edge glow. Let's see. Edge glow will apply to New York City aerial here. So we'll apply the edge glow. Let's go into presets and let's take a look. So now you have sparkles, warm, different colors, different variations here. Aura. Oh, puts little edges there. Blends the edges, then the glows there to put them on the edges there. That's kind of freaky. Weird. I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to keep playing. Glowify. Glowify is great fun with text. So if you do have text, edge of the world. I don't know, something. We'll have this here. We'll go here in the text controls. In the text controls, we have impact. We'll choose the default color to be white with a red stroke, I guess, around it or something like that. We'll add like a little red stroke around it. Cool. And this will say edge of the world. And we can do glowify. Let's see, glowify. Chlorophyll? Weird. Oh, let's click on the actual text first. Apply that. That's going to add this weird kind of wafty color change. This looks very spooky. I love it. A little glowify in the words. Again, I don't know what happened if you did to the video. But again, this is something that Universal just made for you. So if you really want to just like try out new stuff, if you've been working in After Effects or you've been working in Premiere and you're like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of doing the same old effects, but I want to try something new or I want to use something new that I just want to be there for me, just like an extra thing. Like you ever go to a restaurant and you're like, hey, I've been having the same meal at the same diner all the time, and I just want to try a different restaurant. Third-party plugins. Third-party plugins, it's that other restaurant you get to go to where you get to try something new out and get to experience something new there. We're gonna keep going because we're gonna get to my favorite ones here. So we're gonna get away from there. Let's go back to effects and let's take a look at stuff like, again, there's glimmer. Hold on really quickly. We're gonna do glimmer. Glimmer adds little light flashes in different parts. So now we go here to glimmer. See if glimmer's doing much for me. Oh, there we go. Glimmer adds little kind of you know, little star filters there on the edge there. Again, there's different presets of different ways in which it glimmers and how much it glimmers and how it changes colors with the streaklets and all this kind of things with the glimmer. So that's glimmer. I'm going to say glimmer one more time. And then we're going to move on. There is glow, point zoom. Oh, let's go back to edge of the world. Edge of the world. And we'll do point zoom. Again, could you make your own point zoom? Probably, but let's do default point zoom and then oh, dun, dun, dun. Man, it looks like that's like an 80s superhero TV show. Man, that's amazing. That's really cool. That's really cool. If you want to do stuff like that, that's there. There's also quantum, which does kind of the same thing, but doesn't come to a straight point. It just comes out in itself. So there's different quantum, quantum aqualight. Yeah, quantum aqualight. Psh, apply that. There we go. So it doesn't come to a strict a point. Point zoom comes to a strict point. This kind of comes. That's more 80s superhero show. Yeah, it's kind of more. Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy to do to explore. Now let's take another look at some other things here. So we have quantum, we have point zoom, we have different glows. So different glow presets. It plays with different prisms and stuff, etc. You can look over there. Let's look at motion graphics. So this is one of my favorites, is the motion graphics stuff. Stylized is my other favorite, but we'll talk about motion graphics, simple enough. Okay, so motion graphics, inside of motion graphics, there's a couple things that are really great inside of motion graphics. First off, we should talk about it for a second about a ray gun. A ray gun is really simple. It's really basic. Nothing special to it. It's kind of just there. A ray gun, we're going to apply a ray gun. The way a ray gun works is you can make these kind of basic motion graphic kind of patterns. You'll see them in cartoons, or you'll see them in animations, or you'll see them in explainer videos, or whatever it may be. We can apply this like there. And it just makes this. And these things are just this pattern there, like this, like this. And it's not really doing anything there. But let's look at presets. Click on this and you have different presets. There are different presets that you can make. So if you were just making like kind of a weird background here, in here, you could apply this and be like, oh, I have this weird kind of look to there. And the fun thing about this is all this is animatable. So all this can be changed and all this can be controlled. You know, the width can be controlled. They can all move and have this kind of weird animation. The height can be controlled and moved. The number of columns. There's line grids and shape grids and cell grids and different shapes that you can all kind of enable and turn off and have these all different controls. So like here's circle staff. Boom. Does like that. And again, this is all controllable, different things. This is all like, hey, you know what? It took me like a year inside of Adobe Illustrator to build all these things, and then it took me a whole bunch of time in Adobe After Effects to animate them. Man, bubbles. Bubbles. There, you have bubbles. And again, all this can be animated and be created. I'm not going to spend the time to animate it right now because I'm trying to get through all these and just look at all this universe collection and what it can do, etc. But there's all these different things like, man, vector shape. Oh, you can move this, etc. Move these shapes around, stretch them out, move them together, etc. Do some kind of animation. And you could change the shape grid, etc. with all these settings. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff. It's playful, fun, entertaining, fascinating stuff. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's hop out of a ray gun. Anyway, a ray gun is just there. It's just a wonderful little collection of things. But what I really want to talk about now, we're going to get rid of the white solid. In New York City Aerial, we'll actually turn this off, is we're going to talk about HUD components. Now, HUD components is a lot of fun. HUD components, your heads-up display components, if you're Tony Stark and you're doing your Iron Man thing, we could do this maybe with, we'll go to the chase and we'll bring in me here. So we'll go here, we'll go to my drive, we'll go here to Adobe Media Files, and we'll go to the chase HD. There we go. And we'll bring in some shots of me here. Let's take a look here. Hold on. Let's go instead of here. Let's do show icons. That we can see pictures of me here. Yeah, we'll take this guy in. We'll bring this guy in. We'll have me here. Oh, we'll make this look super futuristic. So let's see. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to add? I don't know. You guys can't talk to me. Let's do a compass. Yeah, we'll add a compass in here. Boom. We're gonna apply this. It's gonna add a compass here. Now it took this layer and it added a compass here, but we should be able to go in here and say composite blend mode. We could say add mode, and now it's just this on top of there. So now we can have this compass here. Now if we take this HUD component here, we could say, let's see. We have some controls for the master animation speed. So right now it's doing this. It's this little compass that's kind of just animating here, and it's just spinning around. So we have this little heads up component here. Cool, we have a HUD component, etc. This component actually consists of 4 different elements. You can actually blend 4 different elements. So element type E1 is the crosshair. If you didn't want the crosshair, you could go to any one of these. 8-bit target. Switch it out to an 8-bit target, maybe switch it out to a basic triangle round. Cool. There's some other elements here. Crosshair 6, you could try some different crosshair. Ooh, I like that better. I like that better. I do. Element number 2, we could go here to element number 2 is the needle. That's the needle here. You can change the needle color. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a purple. I like a purple. A little purple needle, etc. There's some arc options. The transform controls. You could make this move the position of this or move the rotation of this to someplace else. There's your rotation of this. So all this is keyframeable, all this is controllable, all this is animatable. There's tons and tons of stuff you can do. It is all kinds of crazy. It's overwhelming. Um, there's some glow controls and how it has some motion blur controls. We could add some motion blur on, medium motion blur, add a little bit of motion blur to the animation here. If we cranked up the animation, had it moving faster, we could do some things with motion blur, but motion blur is probably going to slow down my system like crazy. So I'm going to leave it alone and see what it does here. So now we have that there. But now we can go in here and say, hey, you know what? I have this HUD component. Let's add another HUD component. Do we want to add something else? We already have a crosshair. Let's see what else we have. A little dot slider. Yeah, a little techno dot slider. Love it. Apply a techno dot slider here. Oh, sorry. Let's go here. Let's not click on this HUD component. Let's add another dot slider here. Or let's do it on a different layer. Let's do it this way. Yeah, that's be smarter. We're gonna add a white solid. So we're gonna have these in different components. So with the white solid, we'll add the dot slider on this white solid here and apply the dot slider here. And now we have the dot slider that's there inside here. And then we can take this dot slider here and move this to someplace else. So we can move this to some location. We can just drag this over here and put this in the corner. Now we have this going on. We're going to add another white solid. We'll just duplicate this white solid. We'll get rid of this HUD component here. Now we have another white solid. We'll just go to position controls and then right click and reset my position controls. Let's see, the fingerprint scanner, the grid dots, HUD clock, linear triangles, the oscillating rectangles, 2. Oh yeah, we'll put this up in the top corner here. So now we have a whole techno display. Oh my God, this is amazing. Again, could you make all these in After Effects? Yeah. Would it take time? Yeah. Is it involved? Yeah. Have I spent a day and a half doing this before because I was trying to make some kind of sci-fi action movie? Yeah. This just makes it just there. It's just doing all these things. They're there. They'll render. It's done for you. It's done for you, and it's probably done better than you did. Man, slider knobs. I feel like I want to add slider knobs in here. You know, what world would be complete without slider knobs? We're take this, get rid of this HD components. I guess I can just reapply it because I'll just apply over it. Now we have slider knobs. What are we going to do with slider knobs? Oh, we'll put slider knobs here. Maybe make slider knobs a little smaller. Yeah, that seems very techno. Very, I feel like I'm in a Marvel movie now. I'm like Nick Fury here, looking at different screens. Oh, it's amazing. Anyway, things I can do with just this group of motion graphics, HUD components, etc. While we're here, and we're playing, let's go back to me here, and we'll go to HUD components, and we're also going to add in a Progresso. So now we're here, we're going to add in Progresso. Progresso, we're going to apply this here and add Progresso in here. Progresso is, let's see where we are here. Let's get rid of my HUD components here for a second. So it added this in here. The HUD components are turning it off. But Progresso, let's do a blend mode. We'll blend this on add. Yeah, cool. So Progresso here, we'll move this. This is a progress bar. Have you ever made a progress bar before? Yeah, it involves expressions. It's a pain in the ass. It's complicated. They've just made one for you, and they've made a progress bar that you can choose. Right now, the progress is 85%. You can change this. Notice the numbers change as the progress changes. It maxes out at 100. It goes down to 0. It's there. Do you want a linear bar? Do you want an arc? Do you want, oh man, a speed limit bar? So this has the lines in the center and then the numbers in the center that go here, the tick marks on the side. Oh, how cool is this? Whoops, sorry. Let me move my position on my eye right there. Progress of my eye. We'll make the let's see, the overall, we'll make the arc, let's see, the markers, the arc a little bit smaller. No, that's the arc. Let's do the I don't know, is the pie chart? We have a pie chart. Okay, the diameter of the pie chart. We can I guess there is no pie chart. I'm looking for the diameter of the arc. There we go. Put it right over the eye. We'll change the stroke outline or the stroke width, make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, so we have that. We have the linear bar, which is there. Um, I don't know. We have the arc. I think the arc is in here. Okay, so that's the arc foreground bar width. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Man, all these different little controls there. So now we have all these controls. This is a progress bar, and there's all these different methods of making different progress bars. There's pie charts and all these different variations of power up control. Man, power up. It's a really simple thing to make. It's just a pain. It's just a pain. And you don't want to have to do it all this work. You want someone else to do this work for you and make it really easy for you, really simple as an idea here. Anyway, I'm making a big mess here, but man, this is really exciting. Really exciting. Whew. Intense. We're going to turn off Progresso. I'm sorry. I know the eye bar around my eye. We're going to get rid of the HUD components as well. Let's go back to effects. Let's see. And even in the Progresso, there's different types, linear bars, linear sequences, pies, etc. There's all these different controls there. Let's see what else we got inside of here. Um, Logo motion. So if you have a logo and you wanted to do something really, some kind of simple animation, here's some simple animations that it can do. This is nothing special about this, but this is just a really easy way. They're like, hey, I want to do this animation where it kind of comes in, it pops in, and has some cool, temporal interpolation to it, some ease to it. You can do those things, etc. There's even a simple line generator. Can you make a simple line that shows up different line styles, different curvy lines and dotted lines? Could you make them yourself with shapes? Yeah, you could, but it's right here. It's right here for you. It's there. It's available for you as something that you can just use in there. But let's go to my favorite here, or one of my favorites. I don't know which one is my favorite. I'm gonna lie. I don't know which one is my favorite. I have so many different favorites. It's so hard to tell now. We're gonna go stylize, and there's stylize. You have a bunch of cool stylized things you can do. There's analog video, so we can say let's get rid of these white solids here. We're just gonna go back because this is not gonna be futuristic. A Marvel movie. This is gonna be old school. We're gonna take this and make this look analog. So let's take analog. What do you want? You want Hill Avenue Blues? It sounds like Hill Street Blues, but it's not. It's Hill Avenue Blues. And so we'll apply this. It's rendering right now. There we go. Old school TV look. Oh, so it bent this in here, made this look kind of old, bent there. This is a 4:3 CRT. We could change this to 16:9 widescreen. There, have this kind of like that. Man, it added some bowing or some kind of warping to there. Chroma split is at 2, image control is at 9, temperature is at 100. I don't know what any of this means, but there's some things we can do here. There's some camera adjustments we can make. Camera Z position, we could kind of curve this in or out. It's going to take some time to render. Ooh, a little bit intense there. Oh, I think we lost it. Let me undo. You can make a mess for yourself, but God bless undo. You can do some kind of things. So there's your analog video looking thing. Make it look analog. I mean, could you do that yourself? Yeah. Have they done a better job? Yeah. Let's see, carousel. Carousel makes it look kind of Tiger Dream. Let's see, apply Tiger Dream. Yeah, look, it looks kind of old school faded film kind of thing. Let's see what else we got. Electric Vision. That's cool. Acid Stardust. Oh, little old school Polaroid looking thing. Mars Eyes. Yeah, weird. So anyway, some cool different effects you wanted to do because it's there. You didn't know how to make them. You spend the money for them and you can do some cool things. And it's cooler than that person working next to you is doing After Effects stuff. And they're like, how did you make all this so quickly? Oh, I just have the universe stuff and I got my job to pay for it. And so it's there. Anyway, so that's there. That's carousel. But let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's make this awesome. So there's Chroma Town. This is some chroma distortion, chroma blurs, etc. There's Electrify. If we get rid of this, we go to nearest to the aerial and try Electrify. Let's see. Electrify. We can do this with text in here. Maybe we'll do this with text with Edge of the World. Frenzied Light. Ooh, Frenzied Light will apply that effect in here. It's going to process this. Apply. Boom. Apply frenzy light in here. And now we have this doing, ooh, crazy electrovision. That's so much cooler than the text I made. I mean, let's be honest. My text was just a white text with a red stroke around it. We made this. How'd you make that? Oh, I have a secret. I downloaded Electrify. Anyway, so that's cool. We can do that, and there's a whole bunch of different power type. Let's do here. Hold on. Let's do here. Let's do power type. Apply that. Same kind of thing. Shows the original text in there. Oh, so cool. So cool, Chad. I know. I'm amazing. I'm just showing you what these things can do. Yeah, this is basically kind of a let's do weird kind of like graphic fractal noise, green electricity. Let's go next to the aerial and do green electricity. Apply that. Oh, very kind of weird and freaky as an idea, but I like it. I do. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. Let's see. All right, so we have stylized. So I know I'm saving it there. Some glitch effects. We can look at some glitch effects. We looked at Glowify 2. So now there's Glowify 2. There's Glowify 1. Now there's Glowify 2. That's more of a stylized thing. I don't know. Is there anything better in Glowify 2? Oh, horizontal epic. Look at that. We can do horizontal epic, and now we have that in Glowify. Cool stuff that you could have made yourself, but it's just there. All right, wait. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost to my favorite. Let's go back to Chad. Um, some grain. We could add some grain in here, some glitch effects, etc. Some sharpening effects, or some unsharpening effects. But then there's holomatrix. Oh, holomatrix. Oh, let's take a look. Let's get rid of Edge of the World. Cool. Let's go here. Holomatrix. Let's go here. Apply holomatrix. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait, I applied Edge of the World. Wrong thing. Sorry, let's go to here. I almost lost it. Let's go here and let's go to holomatrix and apply that. Oh, right, right. You want that. You want that. You want to make a dystopian hologram looking movie. Oh, so good. So creepy. Are there presets? You're damn right. And you can actually go here and say choose a preset. If you go to this thing, this is choose preset, and we'll show you all the presets. Let's see. The franchise awakens. Mockingbird, Empire, Only Hope, Prometheus. Oh, you can get the hints. You get the hints. They're little. They're punny. They're puns. You know, like there was a movie that began with the word Promethe something. You know, you could do that, and there was this kind of a hologram looking thing here. Oh, yeah. So we kind of created that effect. You know, you might want to see that movie, you know, if you're not there. Anyway, so there's different modes of those. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's such a good time. It's such a good time. Could you probably make this? I don't even know. I don't even know. It probably would take forever to make this. They just made it for you. Red Giant has just made it for you. It's so easy. It's so convenient. It's there. All these stylized things. So there's stuff like okay. So let's go back to the beginning. So one of the things is Red Giant was started by Jonathan Knoll. Jonathan Knoll started the company called Red Giant. One of the things he made, one of the first applications that he made for Red Giant was something called Knoll Light Factory. Knoll Light Factory, John and Thomas Knoll, the Knoll brothers, also made Photoshop. They worked for Industrial Light and Magic. Little history lesson for you, just to cover it. But here, if we get rid of this, we're going to go here and we're going to say, let's look at Knoll Light Factory. This is a version of Knoll Light Factory Easy. So this is the easy version. Sorry, stylized. We'll go to Knoll Light Factory. So this is great in here. Knoll Light Factory has Knoll Light Factory Easy. And Knoll Light Factory Easy is a way to make lens flare. So if you're J.J. Abrams and you want to make a lens flare, you can make a lens flare. Here's the amazing thing about Knoll Light Factory, etc. All the kind of cool lens flares you can make. And there's tons of things you can do to change up how this lens is. Here's one lens flare. Here's a different lens flare. Here's a different lens flare. You can move this lens flare. Here's a different lens flare. And there's all these preset lens flares. Again, Adobe After Effects by default has the one lens flare, and you can change it between three different lenses, the 35mm prime and the 50mm prime and the zoom lens. This is a ton of different lenses. Now, this is Knoll Light Factory Easy. If you get the full version of the Red Giant suite, you get the full version of Knoll Light Factory, and you can make your own lenses. But I promise you, with all these different presets, with all these different categories of presets inside of here, there's all these different lenses you can make, and there's all these different kinds of controls of lens flares you can do based on different images. You'll spend days in here and you'll get enough lens flares here. This is a simple, easy version of lens flares. This is honestly, if I was looking for lens flares, there's some other programs out there that make lens flares. Um, this is, I think Knoll Light Factory really kind of invented the lens flare as an idea. But man, there's some really cool different lens flares you can make. If you're big on lens flares, or if you work for a company that's like, hey, you know what we should do? Put a lens flare in here. I know they do that sometimes. They make you put lens flares in there. But that's in there. Is there other stuff in here? Long shadows. So again, if you have some text and you want to add some long shadows in this text, boom, you get some long shadows. Those are kind of those deep, kind of extruded shadows there. Are there presets in here? And I'm going to be scrolling for days in here. Man, we're going to run out of time with all these different presets. Shadows only, short shadows, long shadows, spot shadow up. Boom. Gonna have to add this in here. See if this will do this eventually. So different types of things you can make, etc. Different shadows you can create. And obviously all this is keyframeable. All this is changeable. You can spend days. Multi-tones, noir looking things. So we could go back to here. We'll go back to maybe TC Street Pole. We'll bring in TC Street Pole here. And we'll make this look very noir. Like, oh, very noir looking. Again, simple. Could you do it yourself? Probably. If you want to, man, there's tons of stuff in the stylized. VHS looking, texturized motion. Add some like texturization effects to this. The motion. Again, are there presets in there? Yeah, we're going through a lot of stuff here. So I'm trying to go through all of it, but it's some really cool stuff. The stylized collection alone, you can just spend days making cooler stuff than the person working in the suite next to you. VHS looking things, you can make this look really weird, old school VHS. Scanless, scan lines fine. Now we have some weird scan lines in here. Sorry, hold on. Scan lines fine. There we go. Cool. Yeah, man. Bring me back. Brings me back. Some of you kids don't remember what we had to do hitting the side of the TV to get rid of the scan lines. Ooh, it was work. It was work. So I have it there. Lastly, we'll go here into the text controls, and we'll actually go to the text controls and we'll do the transition controls. So really quickly, hacker text. Hacker text. You want to make some hacker text? Here, cool. We're gonna take this. We'll take maybe a white solid. Maybe we'll put this in white solid here. We'll go here and we'll add some hacker text in here. We'll turn off the edge. So we have some hacker text. We'll turn off the edge there. So you have this hacker text here, and in the hacker text controls, you have this edit the text. So the text is going to be the source text is going to say unter Gleben Gauten Globen. I don't know. I think that's right. I don't know. Def Leppard fans. And then it's going to change to the target text is going to say, you are really old, Chad. I think it's Cloud Globin. Yeah, all right. I got something to say. All right, so and then you can change your different font types there, and you can play with that there. And so it's going to say Unterblieben Globin. And so in here, you can say here, the text wipe will change. So this will get rid of that. Hold on. Let me undo what I just did here. So let me see. The animation timing is manual. The text direction is random, so it's set to random. We can set it to left to right. We can make it be left to right. And then we go to text transition end, randomness effects, foreground opacity. Yeah, cool. Let's go here to text. Do we have text? Edit the text. Let me see if I can change the text font size to something bigger. 200. Cool. That's too big. That's too big. Too big. You get the idea. So we can change this and we can do the text transition and you can say boom, 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 and it will change to that. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Edit text. Sorry, let's make this. I got a little bit anxious. 96. 96 is so much better. Yeah. We'll take this, we'll put this here. And now you can take this and say the text transition would be boom, 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 and it would change to hacker text and say boom. And it would change from one to the other. That is the hacker text. Is there more screen text you can apply? Yeah, there's totally more screen text you can apply. Let's apply some screen text. And now it's just some random code that's being typed down the screen that looks like legitimate code here. Man, can you control that? Of course you can. You can do all the things, control all these things in here, all this kind of stuff, all the stuff. You can do all the stuff. You can make these inside of here. Um, Text controls, little different type graphics. You can see that kind of preview here what it can do. Typographic kind of weird things, and there's different presets. So this is just for making cooler looking motion graphic kind of text. Full screen titles, lower thirds. So if you want a cool lower third, you could create a cool lower third. Again, they just made these whole bigger collection, bigger than what's inside, the animation presets inside of After Effects, or even bigger than the presets, much bigger than the presets in Adobe Premiere. If you want to look, we can also look in here. Oh, Ellen Ripley. Remember when? Um, etc. You can look at different types of effects you can have in here. Let's go back in here. There's also transitions. So if you do want to do transitions, so let's say for example we want to do a transition. Let's hop out of here. We're gonna quit out of Adobe After Effects. Yeah, we're gonna quit this and we're gonna go here just for the last little bit. We'll go into We'll go into Avid Media Composer. Now the weird thing about Avid Media Composer is the only limitation is there's not a window. I don't have a dashboard. I don't have a universe dashboard, but here in the effects palette, I do have a collection of effects here, the universe effects, and in here is the universe transitions. So say for example, I wanted to add a universe transition, and you could just try these. They don't have, again, a dashboard that gives you everything that tells you what this does, but I was doing, for example, and this is really simple. So let's say, for example, inside of Avid, I really want them to make a dashboard for Avid, but there isn't one. If I said color stripe, this is a transition effect. Could I apply? Could I go to Laura here and go to universe, stylize and try hollow matrix or something else, grain 16 or noir? Yeah, I could probably apply this and add some kind of noir effect to there, and I could add this effect on here, there. But let's just look at this in terms of transitions. Like, I know transitions are kind of silly, and wipes and spins are kind of ridiculous. And yeah, I wouldn't do the Rubik cube probably. Probably not. But man, okay, the color stripe, for example, the color stripe does this.
Good. Well, ever since I
You've seen that before, right? You've seen that effect before. You've been watching a daytime talk show, or you've been watching some kind of a entertainment variety show, and somebody did this to go from one scene to the other.
well, ever
Some morning show or some kind of, celebrity gossip show.
well, ever since I was
It's really simple. It's a really simple thing. And you can park on this and go into effects and you can look at different types of things. There's different presets. So you can go here and open up the presets. And this will actually open up a preset browser, which is nice. Oh, let's see. Let's go to left. So this can be, let's do the complementary right colors, or the triadic right. Let's go triadic right. And we're going to apply this as triadic right. I don't know what that means, but we can try this.
well, ever since I was young.
Now, this is third party, and third party, I know it has a green dot next to it, but I also have a bunch of stuff going on, and it may be a little bit slower. Sometimes the regular Avid built effects are a little bit faster, a little bit smarter at being real time. These might have to be rendered because they might not play real time. It is what it is. But so you have these transitions that you could take advantage of inside here. We could look at, say, something like, what was the one I was doing the other day? I was doing the color mosaic transition. I was working on a little promo video for something, and I was like, you know what? Let's just try the color mosaic transition. And I just kind of liked what it was. And I liked what it did. It wasn't for like a serious drama or anything, but it was just kind of like just, this variety kind of sizzle reel.
Well, ever since I was young, I've loved it.
Could you make that yourself? Yeah, you probably could make that yourself.
Well, ever
And again, in here, if you go to the effect, you can open up the effect and you can say, choose a preset. And I'll show you the actual one I was using. I was using, I think, summer, maybe. Yeah, summer. And I was applying this summer one, and it just kind of had a cool, playful thing, like especially for a video like this.
Good. Well, ever since I was young, I've loved animals.
Again, do I want to go here and park on this and probably render it? Yeah, I probably want to render it in the application. We'll just render this really quickly. And we'll just let sucker render because yeah, we probably want to render it and make sure that it renders because again, this is a third party thing. So it's not necessarily owned by Avid and it was made by somebody who was doing their best, but
Lady said I could. Well, ever since I was young,
a little glitch at the end there. I don't know how that happened.
ever since I was
A little glitch at the end there. We'll have to fix that a little bit. But some things you can do. I'm actually kind of curious what Rubik's Cube is. Gonna park here. Yeah, that's kind of cheesy. Yeah, that's cheesy. Again, that's totally cheesy. I understand and recognize it's cheesy. Not all these are winners, but no light transition. Ooh, no light transition? Are you excited? Are you excited? I'm a little excited. It's a little transition with the light. Let's see if there's anything in the presets that we can explain. Choose a preset. Choose a preset. Blimp. Oh, that's kind of fun. Again, is it for any kind of serious drama stuff? Not necessarily, but it's fun. You can have some fun. Arc welder. Let's see. Let's apply. Let's apply it. See if that even works. Again, I haven't tried these necessarily here instead of Avid. I'm not getting a strong sense of the light coming through there. See if we can fix these a little bit. Let's see. The scale minimums, the brightness minimums, brightness max. See if I can crank this up. The color. I'm gonna choose a different color. Oh, let's not do that. Let's do a different color instead of here. Let's just change to a different shade or something. Yeah, I don't know, something. Anyway, change like a pink or something. See if that does anything. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not getting enough from the color transitions. Is what it is. But a lot of these, again, these different things you could do inside of here and make different kind of controls. They're inside of here, inside of Universe as well, inside of Avid. Um, they work with all these three programs. It's some fun stuff you can do, and I thought you might want to check it out and look at it and see what you can do with them. Again, if you don't want to buy them, don't buy them. I'm not telling you to, but they are kind of, man, they do. If you can get them, if you can get them, if you can get somebody to pay for them, or if you're independently wealthy, or you just say, hey, this will save me a ton of time. The Universe collection, it's lovely. But I thought since we've been talking about kind of internal stuff inside of Avid and inside of After Effects and inside of Premiere, we could talk about a third party thing. Maybe if you like it, we'll talk about some other third party stuff out there. There's some other third party programs I really like as well. Some plugins that will make your world beautiful. Maybe we'll do some shorter lessons on some other plugins. This was a long lesson to talk about just all of these plugins here, but there's a lot here. There's so much stuff you can play with. Anyway, that's what I got for you this time. I hope you got some out of it. Check them out, try them out. Cool.